combination of drug abuse, very poor parenting, neglect to the highest level, and they both are facing the most serious charge, which is second-degree murder.
Parents in reserve could face life in prison after their 4-month-old baby girl starved to death inside their trailer. Good evening, I'm Meg Gatto.
And I'm Lauren McCoy. St. John Parish deputies say the case is unlike anything they have ever seen before.
Andres Fuentes has the latest details on how the pair confessed to starving their daughter and neglecting their 13-month-old son.
Children's toys still lay outside of this trailer on Northwest 18th Street days after St. John's Sheriff's deputies were horrified at what they found inside.
I've seen animals, wild animals, take better care of their babies.
Sheriff Mike Tregre says deputies responded to a call from Angel Taylor, who told a 911 operator her 4-month-old baby girl wasn't breathing. When they showed up, deputies say the baby was lifeless on the bed, and an autopsy proved Taylor's story wasn't adding up.
She said she had put the baby down an hour ago, but physical evidence showed that she was not being truthful. So how long that baby was actually deceased, I couldn't tell you. But this child had been severely malnourished. I mean, this child has not eaten, who knows when the last time this child had a meal.
Now Taylor and the baby's father, Chevy LaFontaine, face second-degree murder among other charges, and their second child, a 13-month-old boy, was sent to Child Protective Services.
He had signs of being neglected as well, but some kind of way he found food and managed to survive.
Sheriff Tregre says both parents admitted to treating their children poorly and that drugs played a role.
The father blames everybody but himself. He even blamed the people that provided him the drugs with his drug abuse problem. And the mother said she did drugs to the point where she passed out, and she didn't know she would pass out for hours and hours at a time.
Really, a person who's addicted to drugs, their brain chemistry changes, and that becomes their sole focus.
Pediatrician Dr. Anna McFarland says parenting while on drugs is dangerous for all involved, especially the children. She also says if the parents knew how to get some help, this tragedy could have been prevented.
Having resources to get formula or get food, or even knowing where you can, right? Like you can get formula for your child through WIC and through other programs.
Neighbors here in the area didn't want to go on camera with me, but they do say that they were heartbroken when they found out the tragic reality that the children faced inside this trailer.
And you know, they got people in this world would love to have a baby. People that can't have children. A stranger would have taken this child. Just to see a child just deteriorate that way, it's hard.
Reporting in reserve, Andres Fuentes, Fox 8, Local First.
Both parents face multiple charges, including neglect and child abuse. They each have a $600,000 bond and must put up the full amount of money in order to get out of jail.